might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Saturday, May 11th, 2024. We are in the house, we are in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our weekly numbers review. Already in the building, I have my brother Yakar. What's going on? Salute to you as well, Yakar. If you do not know who I am your host of the channel and of the weekly number show, along with Yakar and Mitch, who helped me out so much with especially with this show, right? All the shows, but especially with this show, because I am just figuring out these numbers for myself. If you don't know who I am Tech Coach Ralph, right? I should have known this a long time ago, but it is never too late to figure it out. But these numbers are super, super important, knowing how to break them down about the job market, the economy, all this stuff. So we should have known this when we were 10 years old, right? But it's never too late. But I would also say it is a good opportunity to start teaching your 10-year-olds this, putting this in their mind early on our Q&A show. Yes, on our Q&A show. There was a question of like, what if I can go back to my earlier self, right? What would I have liked to know or to do? And I was like, there were so many things, but this is one of them. Understanding these numbers, these breakdowns a lot earlier would have helped me making like better decisions and stuff like that, how you maneuver throughout the world. So we're here now, and we are going to get this information in, and we're going to instill it into our mind, get it on a consistent basis, so that we can be more familiar when they're talking about the jobless claims and the manufacturing numbers, get a better understanding of it all, right? So that's what we're going to do here. And this is our third one that we've done, I believe. And we're just going to continue running it up, using data to make right decisions. So we do, right? So with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I have a quick announcement. I am going to be going live around 1:30-ish Eastern time, just because I need to push the iOS version of the time cost calculator to the App Store before next week. So I need to get it done by today. I had logged into it the other day and said I had like 4 days left and whatever it is that was happening. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's get it. Let's renew it. Let's re-up it. Let me push the latest version today. And then we can, on Monday, I'll review what we did today, this afternoon, so that we can get it up there. And the link, let me drop the link for the form. If anyone wants to sign up to become a tester of the app, let me see. There we go. Let me drop that link in the building, in the chat, so that anyone wants to try it out, give me some feedback. I would love to hear it. Let me get that. I'm going to drop that in here. Forgot. Good old shortcuts. Yeah, sorry about that. All right, so cost calculator. Testing sign up form. There we go. So anyone wants to try it out, fill out that form. I just need your email address and the the platform that you're on, either iOS or Android, and I will get you added in there. All right. So we have Maddox 12 in the building. Says hello, team. Hello to you as well. How is it going? Shout out to you. Shout out to you. And we got Mitch in the building. What's going on, Mitch? Mitch says, dang, 1:30. I'm doing work today, doing these item builds. Mitch, you working on a Saturday? You putting in that work. Shout out to you, Mitch. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. You know, the show does not, like, once your car gets here, Mitch gets here, Matic gets here, like, all right, it's time to get the show started. So, Mitch also says, glass is on. Glass is on. Clark Kent is in the building. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Oh, really? That one's not going to work? Okay, cool. So, let's get started. So, we have two numbers to review for today. Two numbers that I got from the LinkedIn. I'm going to pull up the LinkedIn article that we read on Monday, and then we'll go through those two, and then we'll also go through some additional links that your car provided to me to get some more insight, because so many numbers out there, and it's all about how we parse through them and stuff like that. All right. So let me go and share the screen. All right. So we are going to pull this one up first. So the numbers to watch for this week, right? We have, all right, let me zoom in on this as well. Okay, so the numbers to watch this week. The labor market is likely to remain a focal point after the U.S. job reports Friday showed a long. So this is Friday, last week Friday, not yesterday's Friday. This article is from Monday. The labor market is likely to remain a focal point after the U.S. job report Friday showed a long-awaited slowdown during April. Lower payrolls and wage growth have reignited hopes that the Federal Reserve may be able to start trimming interest rates from the 23-year high this year. A new jobless claim report out this week will offer fresh clues, which is what we're going to be reviewing today. Fresh clues. Fresh clues on direction of the market. The University of Michigan preliminary estimate of consumer confidence for May, meanwhile, will show whether a recent dip in confidence has persisted. All right. So, like I said, we're going to review today. The U.S. Department of Labor will release initial jobless claims for the previous week. The report is a proxy of layoffs, tracks the number of people filing for unemployment benefits. And we also have Friday, which was yesterday, the University of Michigan released its preliminary readings of May's Consumer Sentiment Index, which measures how Americans feel about the current and the future economic conditions. All right, so let's get into it then. Let's get right into it. So first and foremost, we're going to review the U.S. Department of Labor releasing the initial jobless claims. So here we are. And let's go to this one, Thursday, May 9th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. So unemployment insurance weekly claims. And so we review this pretty much every week. So let's see if we can kind of move through it a little bit quicker. So in the week ending of May 4th, the advanced figures for seasonally adjusted initial claims was 231,000, an increase of 22,000 from the previous week's revised levels. So for the week ending of May 4th, which would have been last week, the initial claims was 231. So that means the jobless claims grew 22,000 from the previous week's revised levels. So there was actually the week before, there was actually 22,000 more than what was reported of jobless claims, initial jobless claims. So that like people who are just being laid off, more or less. The previous week's level was revised up by 1,000 from 208,000 to 209,000. The 4-week moving average was 215,000, an increase of 4,750 from the previous week's revised average. The previous week average was revised up by 250 from 210,000 to 210,250. The advanced seasonally adjusted insured unemployment rate was 1.2% for the week ending at April 27th, unchanged from the previous week's unrevised rate. The advanced number for seasonally adjusted insured unemployment during the week ending of April 27th was 1,785,000, and an increase of 17,000 from the previous week's revised levels. So the advanced number for seasonally adjusted insured unemployment. So this is like the total of people who are unemployed, insured unemployment, was okay. So all right. So this is the initial jobless claims, the initial unemployment claims, and this is like the total unemployment claims, and it was increased 17,000 from the previous week's revised levels. The previous week's level was revised down by 6,000 from 1,774,000 to 1,768,000. The 4-week moving average is 1,781,000, a decrease of 6,250 from the previous week's revised average. The previous week's average was revised down by 1,500 from 1,788,750 to 1,787,250. All right, these are a lot of numbers to read for about 1,500 difference. 6,000. Those are a lot of numbers to read, but it is what it is. Let's check the chat real quick as we continue to go through this. Let's see what we have in the building. So, Mitch also asks, let's see. Mitch is always, we know you're always working. Mitch, come on. We're all like this channel. We're always working here. Okay, so if you're a part of this channel, I know you're always working. So most people should be working instead of partying. Did I just say that? What? I need the soundbite. How dare you, Mitch? How dare you say such a thing? Most people should be working instead of partying. Who are you? Who are you to tell us that we should be working instead of partying? I just, you know what? I just want to party all day, all night, Mitch. All day, all night. I want to party. Okay, so you don't tell us what to do. Okay, we want to party. Anyways. Mitch. All right. So it says, did you see the mortgage rates today? I did not see the mortgage rates today. I did not. I will pull them up though. Remind me, I will pull them up after we're done with this one. Let's pull up the mortgage rates and see what's going on because I am not aware of the mortgage rates, which, let's see. We will check that out. And let's see. We got your car in the building, your car in the chat. Says, you see how they manipulate the numbers. I see. Because like if you see it that's not that bad. And then a week later, when you're not checking for it, says, oh yeah, it was actually 22,000 more than we initially reported. And your car says, we have a saying in business about economic numbers. Don't bet on the release of the numbers. Bet on the fact they were revised. I am learning that. Now, like 3 weeks into this, I'm like, okay, oh, this looks good. And then a week later, like, oh, by the way, we were off by like 50,000. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well, all right. And we got McColl's Wellness in Motion in the building. Says, bless up all. I'm here listening while I do some studies. Hope everyone is well this Saturday morning. Plus, it's my birthday week. All right, let's pause for just 1 second here. And I just want to wish McColl a very, very happy birthday.
You the best. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, McCall. And thank you so much for being here. All right. So let's continue with our numbers. All right. So let's look at the chart real quick. Seasonally adjusted claims. All right. See, I got to get better at looking at these charts as well because let's see. So in the thousands, seasonally adjusted initial claims Moving average is here, weekly initial claims, and we are, so these are in thousands, so 250,000. And what is this graph? What is this axis? What is the x-axis representing over here? I don't know what Mitch or your car or McCall. Do you guys know what this axis is representing? I'm not sure what this one means down here. Not entirely sure. But if you guys can help me out with that, then I can go back to that one. And then look, I appreciate that,
I
Mitch.
appreciate you.
Mitch says, don't feel bad. Most people don't understand those charts. Facts. That's a fact. I'm just because I get this part and the seasonally adjusted claims, like breaking down what it says up here. I'm not familiar with this axis. What this axis is saying right here. The M J J A S. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. We shall figure it out. I'll put that on my to-do list of what to look up. All right, seasonally adjusted unemployed. So this one is like the total unemployment claims. So this is like the people who are reporting for the first time, and this one is the ones who are just like in total who are unemployed. All right, cool. All right, unadjusted data. The advanced number of actual initial claims under state programs unadjusted totaled 209,324 in the week ending of May 4th, an increase of 19,690 or 10.4% from the previous week. All right, so wait just 1 second here. So when I see 10%, I know 10% is a lot. So let me read that again. The advanced number of actual initial claims under state programs unadjusted totaled 209,324 in the week ending of May 4th, an increase of 19,690 or 10.4% from the previous week. So the jobless claims, initial claims, similar to what we read above here, this was seasonally adjusted data. And here it's from the state programs, it grew about 19,000. Okay, got it. So 19,000 new initial claims of unemployment from state programs. The seasonal factors had expected a decrease of 626 or 0.3% from the previous week. There were 203,898 initial claims in the comparable week in 2023. So there's a difference about 6,000, more like close to like 5,000-ish between. So there's more people unemployed, initial unemployment claims from a year ago about by 5,000. Okay, got it. And says the advanced unadjusted insured employment rate was 1.2% during the week ending of April 27th, unchanged from the prior week. The advanced unadjusted level of insured unemployment in state programs totaled 1,747,928, a decrease of 5,522 or 0.3% from the preceding week. The seasonal factors had expected a decrease of 22,000 or 1.3% from the previous week. So we are a decrease of 5, and they expected a decrease of 22,000. So they expect. So these numbers, right? I can look at the percentage. So they expected a 1.3% drop, but they only got a 0.3% drop. So if I'm correct, it sounds like this deserves a. Was that soundbite accurate, Mitch? Because if you tell me you're expecting a 1.3% drop and you actually get a 0.3% drop, that doesn't sound like it's a good thing, right? But I'm just breaking it down from a non-data person perspective. A year earlier, the rate was 1.1% and the volume was 1,658,533. So we are actually higher this year than we were last year. All right. So let's see. And let me check the chat real quick. We got Spaces in the building. What it is? What's going on, Spaces? What's going on with you? Shout out to Spaces. All right. And we've got, all right, so here, so let's look at this real quick. I mean, this graph pretty much says the same thing. So it's comparing, all right, so not seasonally adjusted initial claims, the latest 52 weeks, and then the prior year. So at this point right here was higher in the prior year, but for the most part, it looks like in the last 52 weeks, we have been trending above how it was last year. So if this data means anything, it looks like last year was a little bit better than it is this year. So, and you know, we've been hearing a lot about layoffs and stuff like that. So, and then same thing for here. The latest 52 weeks is trending a lot higher than the prior year's 52 weeks, where we look like we have a lot more not seasonally adjusted uninsured and insured unemployment claims. So that's what I'm seeing here. Okay. And it said, remember I told you last week it's more than it was saying. Yep. Okay, yeah, you did say that. Yep, definitely. And then they revise it and boom, it shoots right up. And Mitch says, and what it is most claims probably didn't go through, so we'll be on the next one. Yeah, because especially when you have like the federal government processing these things and takes like a month to get through it. Like, so yep, that makes sense. So that's why they keep getting revised, because they get stuck in the backlog and all that good stuff. So, yeah. All right. So let's keep going. So the numbers of continued weeks claims for benefits in all programs for the week ending of April 20th was 1,778,454, a decrease of 50. I'm just going to go 59,000 from the previous week. There were 1,715,000 weekly claims filed for the benefits in all programs in comparable week of 2023. So that is a big jump. So let me see. The total number of continued weeks claims for benefits in all programs for the week ending of April 20th was 1,778,000, a decrease of 59,000. So there's a decrease in claims being filed from the previous week, but compared to a year ago, that's about almost a 60,000 number difference. About 60,000 difference. Interesting. No state was triggered on the extended benefits program during the week of April 20th. Initial claims for UI benefits filed by former federal civilians was 343 in the week ending of April 27th, a decrease of 22 from the prior week. There were 351 initial claims filed by newly discharged veterans, a decrease of 9 from the preceding week. So it's saying from the preceding week, well, they wouldn't be initial. So that means, all right. So to get it in my mind correctly, so it just means that. So when it says so, Yakar, Mitch, McCall, anyone, correct me if I'm wrong here, right? What this is saying is that all it's saying is the civilian employees who filed for unemployment benefits, initial claims, is just less than the prior week. So that means like 22 people less filed for unemployment. So that would mean, so instead of 343 filing on, or maybe the week before April 27th, it was 343 plus 22, and now it's 340. So I mean, so in total, it's like 500 people who were, or not five, like, but like 600-700 people who were laid off in the span of those 2 weeks. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But that's how I'm interpreting the numbers here. Like as I'm reading through it a little bit slower and more consistently, that's how I'm seeing it here. Let's see what we got. So anytime somebody says happy birthday to McCall, I'm gonna do the lights. Right? So boom, there we go. Happy birthday to McCall. Shout out to you, Glow Hardy. Welcome. right. So anytime I see a happy birthday to McCall, we get the lights going. All right, we get the lights going. So Saturday morning, we're having some fun reviewing these crazy numbers, and we do what we do. All right. So let's see. There were 530. There were 5,030 continued week claims. There were 5,030 continued week claims filed by former federal civilians the week ending April 20th, a decrease of 61 from the previous week. So that means 61 people, 61 former federal civilian employees got hired. Newly discharged veterans claiming benefits totaled 4,370, a decrease of 87 from the prior week. So they either stopped claiming. Well, it doesn't mean they got jobs. It just means that they stopped filing. So I'm wrong on the 5,030. It just means 61% less filed. Does that mean they got a job? Not necessarily. Does it mean that they could have got a job, or they could just say, I'm not filing for this anymore. Same thing for the newly discharged veterans. That decreased from 87. And let's finish this up. The highest insured. Why do I always want to say uninsured? Right? It's because I'm from South Florida. Because I'm from South Florida, we always think about the uninsured motorists, the people who drive without insurance, and they hit your car, and then now your car is totaled, and you have to pull it out of your insurance to fix your car. So whenever I see insured, I always think about uninsured, but it's the highest insured unemployment rate in the week ending of April 20th were in New Jersey. Shout out to Mitch in New Jersey. California. Shout out to your car in California. Rhode Island. I don't know anybody that lives in Rhode Island, so no shout out to Rhode Island. Massachusetts, Illinois, Minnesota, New York, Washington, Nevada, Alaska, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania. So the highest insured unemployment rates were in these states over here. 2.4 for New Jersey, 2.3 for California, 2.2 for Rhode Island, 1.9 for Massachusetts, 1.7 for Illinois. So 1.7 is for Illinois, Minnesota, New York, Washington. Nevada comes in at 1.6, Alaska at 1.5. Connecticut is also at 1.5, as well as Pennsylvania, right? And lastly, the largest increases in initial claims for the week ending of April 27th were in Iowa. The largest increases in initial claims. So 1,452 seem to have been recently unemployed in Iowa. And then we have Illinois right behind them at 1,227, and then New Hampshire 488, Ohio 340, Michigan 330. While the largest decreases were, shout out to California. So shout out to California. They had the largest decrease in initial claims. So that means they laid off less people. They probably, all the people who got those minimum wage increases working as fast food workers, they probably laid them all off. Like we're in May now, so the first couple of weeks they all got laid off, and now so there's less people who are filing for initial claims. They're just on the rolls for current claims, right? So California at 5,083, negative 5,083. Massachusetts negative 3,306. Oregon negative 1,700. Rhode Island negative 1,600, and Connecticut negative 1,400. So shout out to you all. That is the numbers for the jobless claims for this week. Whew, those numbers are not the easiest to get through. So we are here. So let's get into the chat, see what we got going on. So your car says the letters at the bottom are the group sentiments of that rate. Okay. Still not entirely sure what that means, but at least we're getting closer and closer to understanding. So they are the group sentiments of that rate. Let me pull it up real quick. The group sentiments of that rate. No, we have to do a little bit more research to see whether, what? Why not now? Let me see. Group sentiment of rate on jobless claims. I'm going to connect a little bit after this and get some more insight on what that means. But at least we know what they mean, though. Now to break it down even more, we're going to do a little bit more research. But shout out to your car. I always dropping the gold in the chat, and we have. Oh, okay. So your car breaks it down as well. J, job losers and people who completed temporary jobs as a percentage of the labor force. U2. D. Oh, let's pull it up while we're looking at that, because that's going to help us out a lot, right? So let's go to here. And let me pull up your car's comment again. So it says, J, job losers and people who completed temporary jobs as a percentage of the labor force. So that's what this J over here. Can I zoom in on this? So that's what this J would mean. And then let's go to the next one. It says D, discouraged workers. In addition to the total unemployed, this adds people who have given up looking for work because they believe there are no jobs available for them. Well, that's sad and discouraging. So now I wonder, how do they put this together over here? So, interesting. This is fascinating. I am absolutely fascinated. All right, so let's go to O. O says marginally attached to the labor force. This includes discouraged workers and people who are not currently looking for work, but have looked for work in the past and are available to start. So marginally attached to the labor force. Gotcha. Includes discouraged workers and people who are not currently looking for work. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Look at that. This is gold. This is gold. All right. And S is over here. And it says all people marginally attached to the labor force plus people employed part-time for economic reasons. So I wonder if that's the people who want to work full-time, but they can only find part-time. And then M is right here. It says median wage or median salary, which is often used to compare wages across different occupations or industries. So this is very helpful. I now to understand how they line up on the graph. So does that mean like, all right, so does that mean like with the O, or let's say with the M, right? The M for the median wage or median salary, does that mean by it hitting over here, they're like, I don't understand. It's like 200,000, or maybe that's okay, or maybe that's where the sentiment. Okay, so the sentiment last year was higher than here, but does it mean, I don't know. It's like I'm trying to figure out, is there any correlation to this number in thousands, which means like the actual numbers versus the sentiment down here? So, good questions to ask. All right. All right. Anything. All right. So let's see. And we have Bobby Cherry in the building. Shout out to Bob. I don't think I've ever talked to Bobby Cherry before. Shout out to you, Bobby. Welcome.
I appreciate you.
Welcome to the show. All right. Let's keep going. A. All right. So see, look at that. This is so helpful. A is the unemployment rate, the number of individuals unemployed 15 weeks or longer as a percentage of the labor force. All right, let's see. A is right here. Unemployed 15 weeks or longer. Okay, cool. And that's the same. All right, cool. There we go. Perfect. All right, we can go back to full screen now. All right, so that was that. Look at your car coming in. MVP. All right. So perfect. Oh, there's more. Let's take this. So F is the official unemployment rate. This is the most commonly cited unemployment rate, which includes all jobless individuals who are actively seeking employment and are available to start working. So that means that it doesn't really include the it doesn't include the. Let me put that back up. So it doesn't include those who are like the O's and the discouraged people, like the people who stop looking. That unemployment rate doesn't include them, right? If I'm understanding correctly. So like, that's so fascinating. That is absolutely fascinating, I must say. Let me see. All right, perfect. So this is super helpful. This is super helpful. All right, cool. All right, let's move on to our University of Michigan. Thank you so much for that. Your car, everyone, shout it out for your car. Shout out to your car in the building, giving us this, like, because hey, maybe you guys knew this already. I had absolutely no idea what these letters meant, and I was like, all right, let me try to figure this out. And I even tried to do a quick Google search. Nothing. I found nothing. And your car just gave us all of them. So that's amazing. That's impressive. Oh, you know
I
what?
appreciate you.
Welcome, Tola. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to you, Tola. So I think one last thing before, because I'm just getting the hang of this, right? So the correlation to these numbers, the reason that the J shows up here, that just goes how the people were feeling around that time, if I'm understanding correctly, or the numbers around that time. I don't know. I have to, like, it's starting to make a little bit more sense, but I need to solidify that understanding. But it's starting to make sense, starting to make a little bit more sense. All right, so let's get into our University of Michigan information, and then we will look over the other numbers, which I think your card is going to help a lot with, because he sent them to me and I looked at them. Didn't make much sense to me yet, but we'll take a quick look at maybe one or two of them, and then we will wrap it up for today. Like I said, we're not going to be here as long as we were last week, because we only have two things to look up, right? Cool. So we are at the University of Michigan information. Let me switch over to that one. All right, let's zoom in on this one just a little bit. Maybe a little too much. We'll leave it at that. All right. So, survey of consumers, University of Michigan. The sources of economic news and information for consumers by Joanne Su, PhD director. This was released on May 3rd. This is last week. This isn't even new. What's going on? All right, hold on. Actually, no. Wait a second. This is from last week. Let me check. Hold on. Let's see what's going on. Give me a second here. We're here. Let's go back over here. Let's look at next release. So maybe we didn't look at this last week. May 3rd. When was May 3rd? When was May 3rd? May 3rd was a week ago. I don't think we looked at this last week, though. So let me double check. Last week we did not look at University of Michigan. So they said it was supposed to come out on yesterday, but let's go through it. So consumers incorporate a variety of information about the economy when forming let's go. All right, review this to help understand all right, cool. I'm gonna pull that up as soon as we finish reading that. I'm gonna pull that up your car. So consumers incorporate a variety of information about the economy when forming their views and expectations. Their own direct experiences, what they discuss with peers, what they read or hear about in the news. A survey of consumers have continuously asked consumers what, if anything, they have heard about the developments and business conditions with the proliferation in All right. I just stopped because I remember yesterday at the end of Anton's stream yesterday when the wealth building journey put inordinately and I'm sorry. That was just too funny yesterday. Anyways, with the proliferation in internet access over the last 2 weeks, or so decades, news cycles have accelerated and information can now be accessed at any time in a wider variety of formats, including social media, podcasts, and news aggregators, among others. The impact can be seen in the share of consumers reporting hearing unfavorable news about the inflation or higher prices, which was much higher in 2022 than during the objectively worse inflation episodes of 1970s. Between January and April of 2024, the survey of consumers asked 2,409 respondents open-ended questions about how or where they obtained most of their information about the economy. Well, now you can start coming to this channel for it, right? You can start coming. Killing me. You guys can start coming to this channel for it because we have your card, we have Mitch, we have Victor Williams in the building. Shout out to Victor. Hit us with some amazing cybersecurity information yesterday on the stream yesterday, so that was awesome. But yeah, like that's a good question. And by the way, has anyone ever participated in one of these surveys? Because I don't remember anyone ever. Like, how come I never get selected for these surveys? That's what I'm wondering, right? Do you guys get selected for these surveys? Anyways, but I am curious to see where they obtain most of their information about the economy. So, figure 2. So this is figure 1. Let's see. So unfavorable news heard about higher prices. So in 20 over here, it is percent of consumers mentioning it. It's up at like 35%. And I also think like we need to find a way to talk more about this, right? We need to find ways to talk more about this. So figure 2. So this is figure 2 right here. So this is going to be talking about where they get their news information. So figure 2 displays the most commonly cited sources of economic information. The appendix at the end of this report details how responses were classified. Note that up to 3 source types per consumer were coded: mainstream news, other general, unspecified news sources, and non-social media internet sources were the most frequently cited at over 30% of consumers each. About 20% of consumers cited word of mouth sources, which includes friends, coworkers, and family. That is probably not the best source of economic news, but you know. So it says mainstream media is at a 30%. Partisan news is, so business news is, so, and I would think, right? I would think economic news should probably be like, the business news should be a lot higher and the mainstream media news should be a little bit lower, maybe a lot lower. Partisan news, I'm not really sure. What is classified as partisan news? Would that be like a Fox News, a MSNBC, a CNN? But those are also mainstream news, wouldn't they be? I don't know. I don't know. Or would that be like I don't know, general other news? So would partisan news then be, if Fox, CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, all of those are mainstream, would partisan be like Daily Wire or the Young Turks or something like that? I don't know. General other news, I'm not even sure what that is. Social media. I mean, if Twitter has a link to X, right? If X has a link to like a CNBC article, does that mean it's social media they're getting the news off, or are they using social media to get to the mainstream news? I don't know. General other internet, Google tells them, stock market. I think this should also be a lot higher. So like business news and stock market, those should be higher. Word of mouth should be very, very low. And personal experiences, I don't know. I mean, I can understand if you're paying like $15 for a carton of egg and then you're switching out the cases and stuff like that to pay $2 for really expensive eggs. That I can see that being personal experiences. But yeah. So that is that. All right. So let's take a look at the chat really, really quick and see what we got going on. So we'll review that. And your car is helping me out in Lee. Oh, look at that. We got it. And Victor, hilarious, hilarious. All right, so let's see. You see, Mitch has never been selected. Your car has never been selected for a pupil. I've never been selected. And my family is horrible. Is a horrible take on economic news. They still voting for Biden, Uncle Joe. It happens. It happens. It happens. All right. So your car says partisan news is like news people who go extreme left or right. So some mainstream news should really be partisan, but that would be called propaganda. I see. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So let's keep going with this one. So Figure 3 displays a scatter plot. See, Mitch, I can understand the name of the graphs, but and I can definitely read a bar graph. This is a bar graph. I got that, you see. And this one, I don't remember the name of this. Is this like a linear graph? I don't remember the exact name, but it's like, it's like a EKG, right? And when it's even Steven, then it's pretty good. But then when it starts to go really high or really low, then it's not too good. So, but this is a scatter plot, right? See, I can be a data engineer or a data analyst. This is a scatter plot because the scatter plot has the dots all over the place, right? See, dot here, dot here, dot here, dot here, scatter plot, right? So the figure 3 displays a scatter plot of favorability of news heard against the sentiment index for each information source. The least favorable readings seen in the lower left corner came from consumers referring to their own experiences and word of mouth as sources of information about the economy. So the least favorable readings, which is seen in the lower left corner of your word of mouth and personal experiences, those are the least favorable. At the end of the other spectrum, in the upper right, citing mainstream and business news, have the most favorable level of sentiment. So mainstream has a higher level of the business news, and the business news is lower than the mainstream, the general other news, and the general other internet. And it is also lower than so people get their news from word of mouth more than they get it from the business news. But the business news has a higher favorability. Oh, see, almost got me on that one. Favorability, all right? So let's look at that. And then see, I would like to see the stock market and the business news to be higher. The mainstream, like they're gonna be feeding from the business, so that can be a little bit lower. Partisan news being right in the middle, So higher is more favorable and lower is less favorable. Index of consumer sentiment, higher is more favorable. So yeah, so it's low all around for personal is very, very low. Word of mouth is very low. Then it comes the social media, which is like right in between and everything, right? So interesting. All right, what else do we have? So we got figure 3. And let's see, partisan news is associated with more negative views for Republicans and more positive views for Democrats and independents. So, I mean, that would make sense because, and whoever, like, based on who wins the upcoming election, it'll probably be flipped if the parties switch, right? It'll probably be flipped, right? Let's see. So, let's see. The upward slope of the points on figure 3 indicate that more favorable news heard is associated with higher levels of sentiment. Note that the relationship may not necessarily be casual. One alternative possibility is that consumers may gravitate toward news or information sources that confirm their existing impressions of the economy. That makes sense. Further research would be needed to shed light on the nature of this relationship. That makes sense because people go to where they hear what makes them feel good. So that makes sense. And Mitch, we know what happens with people trying to get into tech and stuff like that, and they gravitate towards the scammers. you guys are gonna get me in trouble, all right? It's not Sleepy Joe. You guys are gonna get me in trouble. You guys are getting me in trouble. You guys remember on last Thursday the stream got cut off, all right? So don't get the stream cut off again, all right? Don't get the stream cut off again. And Mitch says bar graph. Yes, that was see, this right here is a bar graph, right? I learned that in like third grade, maybe, possibly third grade. I think it was third grade. Oh, and I have a confession, Mitch and McCall, right? When I was doing my machine learning course where they were using Python, and I got through NumPy, I got through Pandas, got through all of those, right? Easy peasy, right? Writing code, knowing how to navigate, cool. When I got to pyplotlib, that was tough. That one was tough. Trying to creating all these different little graphs and stuff like that. That was a nightmare. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come back. And the next section was about the actual machine learning part with Sidekick and stuff like that. What? Welcome. Who's doing this? Who is doing this? You guys are too. Was that your car? Shout out to your car. Shout out to your car. Everyone, clap it up for your car. Clap it up for your car. Always supporting. Always supporting. Really, really appreciate it. All right. So, we got another bar graph, by the way. Look at that. So, where were we? So we are here, and yeah. So that's what happened. I got to pyplotlib, and I was like, ooh, yeah, this is a little bit tough. And I was right about to get to the machine learning part. And I was like, all right, we're gonna revisit this. I need to work on some other Python stuff and some other stuff, but I do plan on going back. Now that I got Yakar, I got Mitch, I got McCall, I got Spaces, I got Victor. You know, we're doing it. We're gonna do it. So I'm gonna go back to it. I just need to make the time for it. Got Tola in the building, you know. So, but I'm gonna get back to it. I'm going to conquer pyplotlibs, right? And then I can create some cool graphs just like we have here. Okay. So, anyways, let's keep going. You know, I don't want to keep you guys here all day, and I have to get back on here later this afternoon to finish up this iOS thing. Right. So let's go. Let's speed it up. So, as seen in Figure 3, followers of the partisan news sources exhibited sentiments and levels of favorability. Now they got me. Ratings of news heard close to the overall averages, a reflection of the bend of sources at different parts of the political spectrum. Included in this category, when looking separately by political party, divergent trends are clearly visible. Partisan news is associated with lower sentiment and more negative news for Republicans, but the opposite is true for Democrats as well as independents. As a result, Democrats and Republicans who mention partisan news are further from the national average than those who don't. Taken together, partisan news appear to amplify differences in views between Democrats and Republicans. So, average sentiment and news heard by partisan news and party affiliation. Mentioned partisan news, Democrats, yes. Their net favorability news heard was 109.5 or 143, and consumer sentiment 109. For those who answered no, their favorability of news heard was 123. So if they heard partisan news, then their favorability of the news is 143. But if they don't, it's 123. And their consumer sentiment is slightly lower by like 10, 11 points, right between 10 and 11. Independents, if they mention partisan news, their favorability, Jesus Christ. Bruh. So, I I tell the wealth building journey, like, if you send me 3-syllable words, I will not read them. I will not read them. Like that's just too much. That's just too much, right? Anyways, so independents. If they mention partisan news, then their favorability of the economy is 99 and their consumer sentiment is 83.3. However, if they do not mention partisan news, their favorability of the news drops by a good 31. And let's see, yeah, 31, and their consumer sentiment is 72. Now, for Republicans, if they mention partisan news, their favorability of the news is 31 and their consumer sentiment is 52, but if they don't mention it, then their favorability of the news is 47, which is still low, right? But it's higher than if they listen to partisan news, which makes sense. Totally makes sense. I guarantee if we look at this from about 5 or 6 years ago, it would be totally flipped to Republicans would be here, their numbers would be here, and independents would still be like right about here, and then Democrats would be here. So it makes total sense, right? So because people go off their feelings. I mean, sentiments are about feelings anyway. So, and then let's see. So references to mainstream news sources exhibit strong partisan differences. Other sources less so. Let's see. So figure 4 displays a partisan difference in the sources of economic news mentioned by consumers. Mainstream news exhibited the largest partisan difference by far. About half of Democrats mentioned mainstream news sources, followed by 27% of independents and only 16% of Republicans. The most common responses for Republicans were general or other unclassified sources of news, 38% of Republicans. The internet sources, 37% of Republicans, though Democrats and independents also cited sources that are similarly high rates. About 21% of Republicans mentioned partisan news sources, compared with a still notable 15% of Democrats. Independents were least likely to mention partisan news sources. Shout out to the independents. Shout out to the independents. I guess when you are independent, it's like you're not going to be gravitating towards the partisan news sources as much. I don't know. So let's see here. So for the mainstream media, the Democrats were highly favor of mainstream media, mentioning that the independents, they were about 25%, and then the Republicans were on mainstream media for like 15%. And then business news is pretty spread even. Partisan news, which the classification of which news is which now is very interesting. How this is breaking down. General news, social media. So independent. Come on, see, I just gave you some cheer independence. Now you're at 15% for the social media, lower than the Democrats and the Republicans. General news, it's about even for them. Democrats are a little bit lower. Stock market, see, independents. This should be higher. This should be higher for everyone. Word of mouth. Oh, come on, word of mouth. Come on,
Bruh.
And independents lead the charge with the sentiments for personal experience. So that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, let me check the chat real quick as we keep going. Let's see. And like I said, shout out to your car for those gifted memberships. Appreciate you so much. And Mitch, make sure you thank your car. Make sure you thank your car, Mitch. So gracious, I must say. And let's see. So Makoa says, I'm up for the challenge. You are trying to scare me, saying it was tough. Hey, the only reason I'm saying it's tough because I am not a data person, right? If I could understand the graphs like you guys can, then I could easily understand plotting it and stuff like that. But that's my learning curve. But for you guys who are in data, and you can easily you can read this graph right here, right? You can read this graph and you can see exactly what it says without me trying to fumble and bumble over it. I think that you guys are in a good spot. And when I was messaging you earlier, I was thinking about that course because it's a really, really good course, and it takes you into machine learning, data science, data engineering. So I think it'd be perfectly fine. So, and we have reinforcements now. All right. So let me see. It says, I have all of your knowledge. I have you all for support and knowledge. Exactly. Right? Nobody left behind. Oh, I missed this one. So Miss Jennifer is in the building, says salute and good morning to Tech Coach Ralph and chat family. Shout out to Miss Jennifer. Welcome. We party all the time. And we have Jennifer G in the building, says good morning to you as well. Welcome. All right. So I think we are just about done with this one. Let me see. Okay, so let's finish it up on here. So information sources vary across age, income, and education. There was a little variation in age across specific types of news outlets, with average ages between 54 and 58. Consumers mentioning general internet sources, personal observations, and word of mouth were somewhat younger, makes sense. Average ages between 47 and 51. The youngest group by far was consumers mentioning social media, that makes sense. With an average age of 36, consumers citing social media were also lower income and less educated, though these characteristics are highly correlated with age, as some younger consumers may not have completed their schooling. Consumers relying on personal experience as sources of economic information are least likely to have a college degree and also have lower incomes relative to those citing most other sources. Recall that consumers citing personal experiences report hearing strongly unfavorable news about the economy, and because most people are negative and have the lowest level of sentiment. Their demographic characteristics suggest that their view of the economy may be informed by having more vulnerable financial circumstances. All right. So let's look at this chart real quick. And we have the average age 54, median income 100K, with a college degree. 66% of them have a college degree. Who mentioned business. So this is going to be good. I like this. I like what I'm saying here, right? So we have the average age of people who would mention the mainstream media is 54K, right? Their median income is 100K, and 66% of them have a college degree. The average age of people who mention business news is 54 as well, but the business news mentioners are at 135,000, and 74% of them have a college degree. Now, those who mention partisan news, they are a little bit older, about 4 years older, and they make about 90,000, a median income of 90,000, like right in the middle, right? Mean is the average, median is the middle, right? Mitch, correct me if I'm wrong. Mean is the average, median is the middle. And 51% of them have a college degree. And then those who refer to general or other news sources, they are average age of 56 and they make about 80K a year. And they are 49% of them have college degree. And then those who mentioned social media, they're about average age of 36 and they make about the same amount as the 56K makers. And they are 41% with a college degree. And then the general who use general news, they are about 49 years old. They make 95K and they are 54% have college degrees. Those who refer to the stock market, they are around 55 years old as well. They make 105K. And they are 58% of them have college degrees. And then those who use word of mouth, around 51, they make 90K, and they 49% of them have college degrees. And those who use their personal experiences, they are about 80K, and 32% of them have college degrees. So what I'm taking out of this, right? Those who use the stock market and business, they are the highest median income at 135 and 105. and they 70. So the only other one who has higher percentage of the college degrees than those who use the stock market is the mainstream. Those who use the mainstream media, but the ones who use the stock market also make more, have a higher medium income than those who use the mainstream. So, like I was saying at the very beginning when we first started, I would like to see the business, those who use the business news and the stock market news, a little bit higher. And at the end of this report, it kind of plays out to show that those who use the business news, they make more money, and they're about, right in line with the age, and they have a higher percentage of college education. And those who use the stock market, they are the second most making like the second highest medium income, although their college degrees are less, have a smaller percentage. So very interesting, very, very interesting. All right, cool. So that is the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. And before we wrap it up, I'm gonna go check one last. So we'll do one. Let's look at so your car sent me the M2, right? And so we're gonna take a quick look at that, and then we shall wrap it up for today, because my mind is like in circles right now, all these numbers. But I did understand, I was able to pick up on the consumer sentiment a lot quicker than I was able to pick up on the jobless claims. But we're just gonna keep doing it, keep going over it. We're staying informed. Staying informed is the most important thing that we can do. All right. Let's see. So I'm pulling up the M2, and your car, feel free to chime in at any time for some additional context, because I am not too familiar with this yet. I looked it up, but I'm not 100% familiar yet. So this is the Fred. So let me see. Let's see if we can get some understanding. Before we look at the chart, let's go down here. So Fred M2 FRED. Let's see. So sources: Board of Governors of Federal Reserve System, U.S. Let's see. Frequency: monthly before May 2020. M2 consisted of M1 plus saving deposits, including money market deposit accounts, small denominations, time deposits in amounts of less than 100,000, less individual. Let me zoom in on this. This is super small. And let's see how I can move it a little bit. Or I can actually do this. There we go. Perfect. So I can zoom in some more then. And then I can move it some more. Perfect. So now we can see it. All right. So before May 2020, M2 consisted of M1 plus saving deposits, including money market deposits, deposit accounts, and then 2, small denomination time deposits in amounts of less than 100,000, less individual retirement accounts, IRAs, and COG balances at depository institutions, and balances in retail money market funds, MMFs, less IRAs and COG balances at MMFs. A lot of abbreviations, right? So beginning May 2020, M2 consists of M1 plus small denominations, time deposits in amounts of less than 100K, less IRAs and COG balances at depository institutions, and 2, balances in retail MMFs, less IRAs and COG balances. Seasonally adjusted M2 is constructed by saving deposits before May 2020, small denominations time deposits, and retail MMFs, each seasonally adjusted separately, and adding this result to seasonally adjusted M1. All right, cool. So let's see what here. So 1970s. All right, so let's pull up your car's comment to help us out with that. I think I missed one. So let me go with this one first. This M2 is money supply that we have as a nation on hand. So pretty much cash on hand as a nation. All right, and he says you can compare the M2 money supply versus the national debt. That's why I said the debt calculator, so you can see the numbers all. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Let me see if I have the debt calculator then. Let's go here. And do I have the debt calculator in here? Income percentile. Where is the debt? Maybe I didn't save the debt calculator. Well, let's look it up. National debt. Whoa. All right. So there's a lot of numbers floating around over here. National debt is 34 to 1. Sorry. Going back to elementary school real quick. Hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions. All right. 34 trillion, 727 billion. All right. Got that. Whew. That would have looked bad. All right. So I paid attention in elementary school. All right. All right. Cool. So now, is it saying that billions of dollars? So now let's pull up your car's comment again. The M2 is the money supply that we have as a nation on hand. So as of March, or let me see, February 2024. Is that up here? So March of 2024, it's saying that we have 20 billion on hand? Or is that trillion? Is this billion or trillion? Is it 20 trillion or 20 billion? Let's see what else your car says. Click this and it'll make more sense. Is that the one I'm at right now? Let me see. US debt clock. Yep, that's what I'm at. Cool, perfect. And let me see what else. All right, cool. Cool. So let me see. So am I understanding that correctly? If we're looking at the M2, is this saying that we have 20 trillion on hand or 20 billion? If this is billions of dollars, so I guess this would be billion. So this would be trillion. So we should have 20 trillion 841 billion on hand, if I'm understanding correctly. And our national debt is 34 trillion 727 billion. So yeah, I think so, Victor Williams. I think it's trillion because if this would be a billion, then this would be a trillion. So yeah, 20.8 trillion. Yep, got it. You see, look at that, helping me out. So that means that if our debt is 34 trillion and we have 20 trillion on hand, we're short. You remember the Trick Daddy song? I'm about my money. Don't be short. Don't be short. You better you better have my money. Right? That's how it sounds to me. Don't be looking funny when I ask about my money, right? So cool. So this is a quick one that we can incorporate in our in our weekly checks, or however, like when the next time this gets released. So this one is from March, so it's probably gonna get released in May, and we can check. It releases monthly, so we'll check this one to see like how is our cash going up, is it going down, and this debt clock right here, that's always gonna be shooting up. So let's see. Can I click on that? Nope, can't. All right, cool. U.S. national debt. The national public debt outstanding represents the face amount or principal amount of marketable and non-marketable securities currently outstanding. All right. So that's it for today. Let me go through the chat real quick before we wrap it up. So much fun. And there was one that I wanted to pull up, and it was. Let me see if I can find it. I need to start starring these things as I see them. Yeah, there we go. So we have so all right. I missed some of these. All right, so let me go through this one right here. Word of mouth is the number one marketing tool. The media is the number one propaganda machine because they appear to be credible. That is absolutely true. And Evan says, you can't, no, you can't, Rob. Stick to what you know. We don't want you over here. Oh. I need to get my other sound for my violin because I don't have that one on here yet. But I'm hurt. I'm hurt. What is this with the Cowboys fans? I just saw this one. They're voting for Biden. They're diehard Cowboys fans. Did my mouse just die? Oh, great. My mouse just died. Switching mice. There we go. And let's go to McCall said not the cowgirl. Oh my goodness. Cowboy slander. Oh my god. You guys are trying to get me in trouble. As long as you guys don't say anything about Taylor Swift or Beyonce, I should be all right. But you guys are coming after the Cowboys. My hometown is Kansas City, Missouri, Chiefs Kingdom, but live in Dallas. So it's quite interesting. My hubby is a cowgirl fan. The fans are so irritating. Now that's true. The fans are irritating. It's funny. The company that I work for, they're based in Nebraska, and there's like a lot of people who work out of like, where do they work out? They work out somewhere in is it Missouri? I don't know. They work. There's a lot of like people from like Kansas City that also work for my company because they might have acquired a company that was in that area. So yeah. Interesting. Let's see what else we got. Let's go through it. Shout out to Yakar again for the gifted memberships. You guys make sure you thank Yakar and clap it up for Yakar. And Mitch became a member. So welcome, Mitch. Welcome to the Tech Mercenaries. All right, let's see. So let's keep going. Let's wrap it up. Let's see what we got. Not trying to scare you. And beware of the scammers. All right. So we are pretty much it for today. Let me see. Do we have anything else? We get to all the way to the bottom. Yes. We are some brokies as a nation. And there's no better way to end it here, right? We need to put the Treasury Department on a PIP. That's a fact. That is a fact because they just be who knows what they're doing. Who knows what they are doing? All right, pips for everyone. All right. So that's it for today. For this morning, I have to come back in a little bit to finishing up this iOS app build, push the app store, all that good stuff. Shouldn't take too long. But it's what we do. It is what we do. And all right, I'm gonna just finish up on here. Let's get in trouble. A little bit more trouble. It says Cowboys fans yell at you for no reason when they see another team jersey. How about the Cowboys? Oh my goodness. No, sir or ma'am. All right. And on that note, Mikkel says that is it for today. All right, we are out of here. So Mitch says, so Ralph, you'll be working all day. I'm hoping it only takes me about an hour to get this thing into the App Store. But it might be an hour and a half. But then after that, I'm done for the day. We'll be back tomorrow. After this afternoon, we'll be back tomorrow for our regularly scheduled program for Terraform, and we'll keep running it up. We will keep running it up. Bobby Jerry says, "Is that a fact about the Cowboys? Is that what the Cowboys fans do? Like you wearing a jersey and they just walk up. He says, how about the Cowboys?" that is annoying. That is and that's why nobody likes them. All right. So, anyways, we're done for today. Thank you guys so much. we didn't even get to do it last time. So we're gonna do it this time, right? The question for I have for you is,
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
who would have thunk it that we could make reviewing these numbers so much fun? I had a great time. I learned a lot. I learned to say some words that I'm probably gonna mess up again, right? We had fun. But, especially so relevant to numbers, right? So because as they try to convert you, and shout out to Jaquel in the building. Shout out to you, fellow bag chasers. I will go back and watch the previous videos. Awesome. It's fun. Great information. Your car, Mitch, now Nicole, Victor in the building helping us out. So Bobby's here. So much good stuff. And of course, especially when we're talking about numbers. When we were talking about numbers, right? Yesterday's price is not today's price, and today's price is certainly not tomorrow's price.
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
The price of the brick is always going up, just like our debt. And on that note, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. If you guys are available to stop by this afternoon as I'm working on this pushing to the App Store, I will be more than happy to see you there. But on that note, I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much. Have a amazing rest of your Saturday and weekend. We're going to run it up.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Spartans! What is your profession?